What are we talking about today? Linus, great. All the unsubbed and downvotes are coming, boys. Camelot 331 here. Finally, vindication. Look, I put out a video 5 months ago, okay? And it got downvoted to hell, okay? Because I was talking about the Linus Media Group and some grievances that employees had. And how Linus was talking about how he was anti-union and how he didn't believe his employees needed protections. You know, they didn't deserve that kind of thing. I thought it was a little weird, but it's whatever. That video popped off in a very negative way, and everybody was really mad at me, calling me a liar and a fraud and a clout chaser. Well, some things happened yesterday that have shaken the damn world. I probably have hundreds of comments on that old video of people apologizing and saying, hey, where did you get the time machine from? And I do appreciate the people that did that. That warmed my heart and made me feel a little bit less like a failure. So we're gonna get in deep into the entire story of what's going on, all the way until the damn smoking gun. So before we get into it, please like this video. I'm shadow banned as hell. Follow me on all the locals and whatnot. And don't forget to watch the CAMELCAST Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So let's go ahead and get into the sauce. So a lot has been uncovered by a channel called Gamers Nexus, which I will have linked down below because there's a lot of stuff that's happened in just the last 2 days that leads up to this. And I'm going to cover one of the biggest things and then go into the thing that's the biggest of all the things. So Linus admits that their schedule for getting 25 or more videos out per week is strenuous, so they may have got a lot of data wrong, which is one thing. But the biggest thing, okay, is there was a company called Billet Labs that actually lent the Linus Media Group something to test. And it's this thing right here. After Linus tested it and then didn't even test it in an accurate way, he trashed the product apparently.
The best case scenario for this thing is the temps are slightly better, but the experience of building with it is a nightmare, and the advantages over literally any other solution are negligible. It's a cool concept, but unfortunately, I think that there are very few buyers for it.
This is dangerous to their brand, obviously. You guys understand that. So what's even scarier, which is crazy to me when I heard about this, is Linus then, without permission, auctioned off this piece of equipment, allegedly to a competitor to clone the actual device. Okay, you know, which will also completely destroy Billet Labs. Now it has been uncovered. Apparently, Linus said it was actually to a private person, which is whatever. So it says right here, so without permission, they decided to hold a charity auction to an unknown cause for a prototype they were lent. A major industry competitor just so happens to win the auction for an unknown sum. A donation LTT will be taken off as their business taxes. How is this legal? Okay, so basically a lot of stuff is coming to light, bad data from the Linus Media Group, and also this big thing where they're selling this item that was lent to them, which doesn't really help the whole situation. Billet Labs did release an actual statement. Linus contacted us this evening saying it's likely he can get the block back from the buyer. We have declined this offer and asked for the previously agreed monetary value instead. We have already spent a significant percentage of the value of the block in the last few days on replacement parts to build a new block, assuming we'd never see the original again. We do not know if the original block is still in working condition and how much money will be needed to fix it. It says right here, Linus Tech Tips have had our 3090 Ti without using it for 9 weeks, so we have lost confidence that they will ever return it. LTT has confirmed that the block is with a private individual rather than a company. So that's where we get that information from. So you can see what's kind of happening. And I've said this before. This all looks really shady. And everybody was real mad at me when I said this. Everybody's real shady. Keep in mind, when I released my last video talking about the Linus Media Group, it got downvoted into oblivion on the third day it was live in a 10-minute span with over 7,000 downvotes. 7,000 downvotes in 10 minutes out of nowhere on the third day it was live. How does that happen? Almost like somebody with a giant influential pool was able to send that. But Linus then apologized. Okay. He decided to come out on YouTube and actually apologize. So this is what he said. Linus Tech Tips, the media group, have issued an apology and a promise to change and do better via YouTube videos, while at the same time issuing multiple cringe jokes through a heavily scripted format with individuals that are clearly unaccustomed to delivering such scripted reads in a manner that are not completely wooden and fake. Also stating that they will not be uploading for content for a while they modify their internal workflows and process. The entire video showcases the myopic and tone-deaf nature of such a company, continues to ignore or downplay their egregious errors in a manner that only served to solidify my previous opinion that this company does not deserve trust, nor do they deserve to be afforded any form of credibility. What's the funniest part about this, guys? The funniest part about this, Linus actually monetized the apology. It was behind a paywall first. You actually had to pay to see his apology, which is hilarious. That's probably why he's worth so much money, because money is more important to them than actual people's lives. Pretty obvious right here. It says it also has his merch plugged in the video. There's jokes about sponsors, discloses monetary amounts the other party did not want public in the video itself. And there was a sex joke despite evolving allegations, which we're going to talk about a little later. So the funniest part is the bingo card. What does Linus say in the apology to make you feel better? Well, of course, we have the bingo card here, everybody. Promises to do better. We got it covered. Doesn't touch on sponsor conflict of interest, obviously. Doesn't address points in Gamer Nexus's original video. Shocking. I am so proud of our team, has been said. It was ultimately my responsibility. You guys hold us accountable. Free space segue to our apology. LTT bottle merch in the frame. Thanks for your support. Downplays the impact of his mistakes. Video starts with a sigh, which is my favorite part. Linus will be taking a break, of course. The good news is said, and portrays himself as the victim. Look, we're going to read some evolving allegations that are pretty staggering. Okay, we're going to read that. And it's going to really show you some insane stuff. But why is it exactly behind a paywall? It says, when will this video be on YouTube so we can share it with people who doesn't have float playing? It says, I could publish it at any time, but I thought I'd give the float paying folks a bit of early access like the good old days and say thanks for sticking around while everybody else waits with bated breath. That's weird. I don't like... Why would you ever put an apology behind a paywall? That just screams disingenuous. But once they get called out on this, oh, we've heard the feedback from our community and from our team internally, and monetization has been turned off for the video. Well, thank God. After you had already made thousands of dollars off it, you turned it off. It all worked out, boys. Don't worry about it. But that leads me to something kind of unnerving, which is kind of an unrelated segue, but I want you guys to see this just real quick before we get into the actual sauce. This right here is a Reddit post, okay? It's on the Linus Tech Tips. It says, you destroyed my life. My son built a tiny YouTube channel named Mindchop years ago. Due to legal issues with his MCN, he was not able to get a silver play button. I brought him to the NCIX bankruptcy auction to buy one with the hopes of engraving it with his channel name. We bought it from the auction fair and square, yet you demanded we handed it over to you. We said no, and you got your fans to harass my son and flooded his channel with dislikes and hateful comments. Wow. Please, editor, flash back to the dislikes. Says he stopped making videos, fell into a depression. He wasn't doing good in school. He was always bullied, but found love in making videos. He expressed a desire in making more videos, and I encouraged him to continue. We hoped your toxic fans would finally leave us alone. I created this Reddit account for him to use in the future. He posted another video last year after a long hiatus, but your fans still continue to harass him, which is something that a lot of LTT fans do. I mean, I've seen it personally, but Linus can always say, he can always plead the fifth. That's kind of how these weird things work, and it's kind of unfortunate that creators can do this behind the scenes, whether on Discord or maybe use coded language, and they can just claim that they don't encourage this behavior and they're done. He ended his life in August. My wife couldn't bear to have any more Christmases without her son, and she ended her life before Christmas. I'm alone now. I have nothing left. I hate you, Linus Sebastian. You built your empire destroying the lives of others. I do not know why people idolize you. You are a monster. Look, dude, I read that, and it's heartbreaking. And to be fair, to play devil's advocate, I don't really know if that's 100%, true. But that brings us to Madison, an employee from Linus Tech Tips, coming out with some serious allegations. Allegations which I mentioned 5 months ago, and everybody called me a conspiracy theorist. Well, let's go over them yet again. And this just came out today, so check this out right here. It says, to stop the speculation and DMs I'm receiving, I chose to quit my role at Linus Tech Tips because it and the working environment I was facing were ruining my mental health. The number of daily items the social media role at the time was expected to fill was incredibly high. I was expected to post 3 tweets, 2 Instagram posts, and 2 TikToks minimum per day. I was also expected to plan, film, edit, and post 2 float plane exclusives per day. This included wrangling people to be in them when they were also struggling to get their work done. I was also expected to manage, plan, come up with, execute, get approval for, and schedule out all sponsored content on socials. All while being told not to complain because my job was the fun job, bro. Real quick. When anybody had grievances at GameStop, my regional director would basically say, how dare you? Our job is selling fun. You could be digging a ditch right now. If you don't like it, quit. That's a common strategy from corporate companies, by the way. You're going to always see that. If you're not digging a ditch or something, they're going to be like, you have a good job. You should be thankful, no matter what we put on your shoulders. I cannot speak on what it's like now, but they have an entire team working on what I was expected to accomplish alone. I misspoke originally when I stated I'd signed an NDA. I thought the employee handbook acted as one. I am not a lawyer. I never publicly made any statements regarding my time there because I feared even more backlash from a community that was already attacking, defaming, and sending me death threats. Shocking. I also feared for my future in this career given that LTT is large and has an industry connections. My time at the company brought my mental health to an all-time low. You could talk to anyone who was around me during my employment and they would confirm it. I would not recommend anyone I knew to work there, especially with my experiences as a woman in the office. Here we go, boys. I was consistently belittled by certain members of upper management. My work was called dog shit. I was called incompetent. When I would reach out to managers and try to get help with these situations, I would be told to put my big girl pants on and be more assertive. After enough complaints from me, I was pulled into a meeting. In that meeting, the writer's room was pointed to, and I was asked, do you think any of these people would have a hard time getting a job? I said, no. Keep in mind, this is about a month into working here. I was then pointed to and asked, what about you? I was scared. I remembered asking, are you going to fire me? I was laughed at and told to stop being so pessimistic, as if my job and ability hadn't just been vaguely threatened. I was then asked to agree to a verbal no drama contract. The verbal part is important. In this moment, I realized I was no longer considered part of the team. I was now a threat because I was putting up a fuss when I believed I was being treated unfairly and inappropriately. This verbal agreement wasn't right. It was behind the scenes, a warning with no record. A warning that came very shortly after I come forward stating I had been inappropriately grabbed multiple times in the office, amongst other issues. I was also barred from being in videos. So when you ask what happened, why isn't she in more content? This is why. Because, everyone, she complained that she was getting groped in the office. There is a perplexing fear that people will leave LTT and start their own thing if given a platform. So if that platform could be threaten negative things coming out about your company or you would probably want to squash it too. In my experience, there is a belief that everything you accomplish, no matter how much it's created by your own effort, is actually due to Linus giving you a platform. This is what I was told when I moved from Arizona to Vancouver to take this job. After it was publicly announced by Linus that he was hiring me without my knowledge or consent, and also before I was even offered the job or shown the salary, I agreed and signed the employee contract. I had asked and been told during my interview that I would be allowed to monetize my YouTube channel and be allowed to join Floatplane in exchange for shutting down my Patreon. Once I was moved, I was presented with an entirely new contract handbook that I was not told existed. It detailed that I was given incorrect information and would actually have to make changes to my plans if I wanted to continue being employed at Linus Tech Tips. This was after I had moved entire countries and given up my visa status. I couldn't just go back. Some corrections were made as apologies for the miscommunication, but I was still upset. I later went to Linus about this and stated that the effort to remediate the situation wasn't sitting right with me. He told me perhaps I should change my priorities. He was also in this instance referring to the fact that my brother had suddenly passed away not even a week before I moved for this job, and that perhaps I should ignore that. I have been misled because that was more important. I could not tell you how upset I felt in this moment. The opportunities LTT presented to me were nothing in comparison to the day-to-day issues I faced. It did not matter if I spoke to someone with evidence of an abuse of power or inappropriate workplace behavior, it was considered tattletelling. I was also called a tattletale. I was told I was bossy when I was trying to be assertive, like I was asked to do previously. I was told I was arguing when I was trying to discuss my point of view. I was told to calm my tits and stop being such a bitch, and other comments to similar effect. There were numerous instances of misinformation being given to me purposefully to negatively impact my work. I only know this because coworkers would tell me they overheard the actual information I should have been given. It felt like a horrible teenage drama movie. This is one-to-one, real quick. This is one-to-one what we mentioned in my video from 5 months ago. Same exact thing. Work from home was the whole issue. It took you 3 minutes to answer a personal email, you would get in trouble. There's a system of micromanaging and level of distrust because the amount of content they have to push out daily is so insane that no one gets a break. I remember getting told off for taking my sick days, as in the days you're entitled to. This no days off grind set culminated in the real moment I realized I had to leave. I purposefully cut my leg open so bad I would have to go to the ER to get it stapled back together. It was generally the only way in my mind to take a day off without being harassed for a reason why. I had spoken to managers about how I was struggling and how the workload was too much for one person, but I was belittled and told you just have bad time management skills. There are so many instances that led up to the moment. Some of them I've replayed over and over, asking myself what I did wrong. How could I have changed the situation? But I don't think I could have. I was not treated fairly in the moment I couldn't even see because I was told a problem by people I had looked up to for years. I had coworkers come to me saying, I didn't like how you were treated. Glad you got out. Only to realize it wasn't me. I haven't shared any of this besides with my closest friends and family because I couldn't at the time take any more hits to my mental health. I couldn't deal with how small and worthless the job made me feel, all to push out some mediocre shit post. I'm still scared shitless of what the response will be since I'm a woman and have already been called dramatic. I'm not stating what happened to me because I'm seeking clout. I'm stating it because it's been eating at me for 2 years. There are genuinely amazing, compassionate, and intelligent people who work at this company and are driven to share the cool tech they love. It sucks that ego at the bottom line are slowly destroying some of them and hurting the entire reputation of the company. I didn't ever want to say anything for fear of hurting those people in their employment, but at this point, I'm hurting myself keeping this all in while being constantly bombarded with questions about LTT and jokes at my expense. I've been patient and tried to ignore these comments, but some of you don't understand the mental anguish and nights of crying, feeling like I did something wrong. This was my dream job. A lot of companies will take advantage of that, by the way. There are so many more stories of horrible things and shows of ego that I witnessed while working there, but I just needed to get out at least some of what I experienced. It's been 2 years, and every day I see people speculate, it's just another day I'm forced to feel small. Also, I would like to add that Glassdoor review was me. It was, at the time, the only way I felt I could safely express anything that happened to me. It's the Glassdoor review that we read last time. This is just how it is. Oh, by the way, it says, I don't know what I expected from someone who would mock others for not knowing who they were. I was asked about my sexual history, my boyfriend's sexual history, how I like to me. I was told that certain issues were sexual tension and I should just take the coworker out for coffee to ease it out. I was asked to twerk for a coworker at one point. I was told I was chunky, fat, ugly, and stupid. I was called retarded. I was called the F slur, can't say that. The day I handed in my notice was when someone who constantly stepped over me misled what I was working on. They said, I think the reason you try to be funny is because you lack any other skills. Smiled and then walked away. I quit 15 minutes later. It hurts when people compare where I am now to where I was then because, yeah, I had a bigger audience. Yes, I made more money on Twitch, but I didn't know if I wanted to even exist, if the person I'd looked up to could treat me and other people's I respected like pawns. So what she's saying is that Linus specifically treated her this way. I was also the one tasked with managing the OnlyFans account, something I said I didn't want to do. I had to read comments from people talking about how much they wanted to smash me and my coworkers. I saw the PPs and the slobber pockets, and I said no, and was told, only a little longer. Gosh, man, if you want to say that I'm hopping on a bandwagon, that's fine. And that's what, dude, that's what happens when people come to these videos. And you're going to see it. You're going to see the downvotes and the hate comments on this video as well. It's just something that happens. Also, apparently some managers didn't like me because I hadn't got drunk with them before because they were trying to smash her, which was said in the haha, just joking, but I'm actually serious tone. After I came forward about being assaulted, someone accused Linus of inappropriate conduct on Twitter. He came over to my corner and started berating her, calling her insane, mentally ill, an attention seeker, and just digging into the poor woman who had felt wronged by him. This is Linus saying this, by the way, which is something I've read over and over and over. That's just how it is. I was upset and responded back to this different. No. Then bam, another meeting, Madison. Why were you rude and non-communicative with this manager? I didn't mean to be. I was told no, but then I got in trouble because they said they didn't know I was still upset. Cut to me being at my desk and I get a message saying, I did know you were still upset because you never emailed me back. They had lied in front of the big boss to make me look bad. And worst of all, I knew if I brought this up, I would be the one getting reprimanded for tattling. I'm sure there will be more things I remember and I wish I could mention them in this thread. Please don't attack individuals who don't actually have the power at this company. Most of them are blameless and powerless. When I left, I was told that they would announce I parted ways from the company on the EWIN show. I said no unless you make sure you clearly state that I quit. They never mentioned it on the EWIN show. So there it is. That's actually the full statement by Madison. Inappropriate touching, being belittled, yelled at, stuff that's unbelievable. To be honest, being called slurs and stuff like that. Look, I know a lot of you people are like, well, why didn't you can just quit. If somebody's doing these things, you don't like your job, just quit. You don't like your pay, just quit. Look, I kind of, from a small spectrum, see what you're saying. The issue is, I don't agree with the stance that workplaces should just never be improved. That's kind of stupid to me. It's like, oh, well, no matter what happens that's negative, Linus come over and slap you, touch your boob, and then punch 5 people in the face. He should probably suffer consequences. Oh, why didn't you just quit? Also, he should probably suffer consequences. It's really strange to me. So, as you can see, all the things that were mentioned 5 months ago are things that are happening right now. It's coming out right now. Linus is issuing apologies. Of course, putting paywalls in front of them as well, because you got to make that cheddar, baby. Because he also probably understands that his fan base, there's a portion of it that's rabid. That's rabid. There's a portion of it that at the flip of a pen from him, they'll go and downvote your video 7,000 times in 10 minutes. Now, I'm not saying Linus did that, but if all of these allegations, which is what they are, coming from multiple people from different points of time, okay, all of these things, and a lot of things he said in actual clips on video, that seems like something he would do. 100%. Okay, he's got a God complex. He doesn't like to be wrong. He doesn't like to be yelled at. He doesn't like to be questioned. He thinks his intellect is unwavering and staggering. I've met a lot of people like this in my life, and they're gross people, and they're usually doing shady shit behind the scenes because they think they answer to no one, no law, or no power. And I feel like that's just not true. There's obviously something going on at the Linus Media Group, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree because you like his videos, and that's fine. I have people from my channel that would die beside me in battle. Okay, I get it, but maybe just maybe this one time, you look into it a little deeper. Watch this video all the way through before you make a damn comment, and like it down below. People like this should not be in a position of power, but he stepped down as CEO. Yeah, eat my ass. There's a reason he stepped down as CEO. Something was coming. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Please share this video. That's the full transcript. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're still here, swift kiss to the face, comment down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Yeah, Jazz 3. It's the only way to go. Just saying.